Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Look, if you're a focused investor hunting for premium emerging market destinations for 2026, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're walking through a really fascinating prospectus, investing in Nepal. We're going to break down exactly why this nation is quietly drawing some serious global capital. Now, when you hear Nepal, you probably immediately think of Himalayan tourism or rich cultural history, right? But the reality is, it's actually a strategically land-linked bridge sitting squarely between two of the world's most populous economies, India and China. Add in a massive wealth of completely untapped natural resources, and well, the macroeconomic picture starts looking incredibly compelling. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The emerging Nepal opportunity. 2. Strategic high-growth sectors. 3. Fit to 2019, which is the legal framework. 4. Maximizing tax benefits. And 5. Repatriating your profits. Let's jump right into Section 1, the emerging Nepal opportunity. Seriously, it's time to toss out any outdated perceptions you might have about developing nations in South Asia. The really crucial takeaway here is Nepal's sheer demographic advantage. Nearly 62% of their population is right in that working age bracket. That gives you a highly competitive, young, and relatively low-cost labor market compared to its peers. Pair that massive workforce with a government that is highly motivated to bring you in, literally allowing up to 100% foreign ownership in key productive sectors, and you've got a remarkably strong macroeconomic foundation. Moving on to Section 2, strategic high-growth sectors. Okay, let's zoom in a bit from the big macro view down to the highest yield opportunities. Right now, there are 3 exceptionally dynamic sectors for foreign direct investment, or FDI, in Nepal. We're talking hydropower and renewable energy, tourism and hospitality, and information technology. The best part? Each of these offers a totally different, yet super lucrative risk-reward profile for your capital. Let this number sink in. 83,000 megawatts. That's Nepal's estimated hydropower potential. To put that into perspective, that is enough to power tens of millions of homes. But here's the kicker. Less than 5% of this is currently being exploited. With energy demand practically exploding in neighboring markets like India and Bangladesh, we are looking at a massive long-term export play that the government is heavily backing. And this perfectly illustrates just how diverse Nepal's investment portfolio really is. On one hand, you have hydropower. Yes, it needs high initial capital and it has a long gestation period, but it yields massive, highly stable export revenue through long-term power purchase agreements. Then, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got the IT sector. It's incredibly agile, offers super low capital entry, high scalability, and taps into that young English-speaking workforce we talked about, which is just perfect for global outsourcing and software dev. All right, let's hit Section 3, FITA 2019, the legal framework. So we know where the growth is, but you're probably wondering, how does the law actually protect my money? Let's put those common investor anxieties to rest right now. The absolute bedrock of Nepal's foreign investment regime is the Foreign Investment and Technology Transfer Act of 2019, usually just called FITA. This is the main law governing FDI, specifically designed to give you, the investor, real legal certainty. It ensures up to 100% foreign ownership in permitted sectors, fiercely protects your property rights, and, crucially, provides a rock-solid legal guarantee against the nationalization of your investments. Now, FITA does use a sectoral approach. Basically, the doors are wide open for major foreign capital in those productive sectors we mentioned, like hydropower, IT, tourism, and manufacturing. On the flip side, there is a negative list. That list restricts foreign investment in traditional micro-businesses. We're talking cottage industries, real estate trading, and retail trading. Honestly, it makes sense. It protects local mom-and-pop shops while funneling the big international capital directly into the sectors that actually drive the national economy forward. Typically, the FDI threshold in Nepal is set at 20 million Nepalese rupees, mostly just to ensure quality, meaningful investments. But check out this exception. Nepal is aggressively incentivizing its digital economy. So IT-based industries actually enjoy a 0 minimum investment threshold through their newly expanded automatic route. Essentially, if you're a tech investor, you can get immediate FDI approval online without getting bogged down in bureaucratic red tape. Pretty awesome, right? Which brings us to Section 4, maximizing tax benefits. Let's talk money. Specifically, how you can legally minimize your tax liabilities, which obviously directly impacts your ROI. The standard corporate income tax rate over there is a very competitive 25%, but the government actively uses the tax code to steer capital. So if you're deploying funds into priority sectors like energy, transport infrastructure, or manufacturing, boom, that base rate instantly drops to 20%. But if you want the absolute ultimate tax incentive, you need to look at these special economic zones, or SEZs. For export-oriented industries setting up in zones like Bayarwaha or Simara, the corporate tax rate is effectively zero, literally zero. You get 100% corporate income tax exemption for your first 5 to 10 years of commercial operations, and then a 50% exemption for the rest of your contract. That is just a massive advantage for any business. And finally, Section 5, repatriating your profits. This brings us to the elephant in the room. It's the single most critical question every global investor has before sending capital into an emerging market. All these growth sectors and zero-tax SCZs sound incredible, but can you actually get your money out of the country when it's time to cash in? The short answer, absolutely yes. Reading directly from the legal framework here, FIVIDA 2019 guarantees foreign investors the right to repatriate their investment and earnings in convertible foreign currency. This isn't just a promise, it's a fully protected legal right. Whether it's dividends from your profits, proceeds from selling your shares, or loan repayments, all of it can be legally and safely extracted. The actual process to do this is highly regulated, for sure, but it is completely transparent. The steps are straightforward. First, you pay your applicable local taxes. Next, you complete your standard financial auditing. Then, you get the green light from the central bank, that's the Nepal Rashtra Bank. And finally, you just securely transfer your funds out via formal banking channels. It gives the state financial oversight, but more importantly, it gives you, the investor, total predictability and peace of mind. So let's tie this whole shebang together. With the possibility of 100% foreign ownership, unbelievable untapped resources like that 83,000 megawatt hydro potential, zero tax special economic zones, and a booming digital economy that you can enter with a zero minimum investment, you really have to ask yourself, is your portfolio ready for Nepal? The structural reforms we've covered today create a very real first-mover advantage for the 2026 economic landscape. Definitely something to chew on as you look for your next big global growth market. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.